Hey, welcome back to day 2. And we'll see where things go from there. We're going to be, I guess I should probably get rid of that because people at home don't care. Achoo. There we go. There's the good stuff. We are going to get through a wee bit more of all the stuff as we go through from there. Let's see. We're going to talk, those of you who already have the picture of yourself, go you. Drawback is you're not giving it to me yet. You're going to have to hold on to it because I'm going to give you the worst homework assignment of all. It's called responsibility. And now what you have to do is not lose it, because the other worst part is, because my other classes are nowhere near caught up to where you are, we're going to push the picture thing back to like Monday. So those of you who already have the picture thing, here's the horrible part. You have to not lose the picture all the way to next week. And some of you are all flexy because you have the picture today, and you're like, ha 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 ha, and then we're going to get to Monday, and you're going to go, ah, ha, 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 and then we're going to see who gets to flex on who. So now we get to try that whole responsibility thing, because apparently that's like a 7th grade skill you're supposed to learn. Yeah. Well, let's see. We are going to give you credit for the notebook. If you don't have it today, you actually get credit tomorrow also. Because some of my classes, we didn't even get a chance to talk to the notebook. Talk to a notebook. Talk about them. You could talk to your notebook if you're really lonely, but talk about the notebook. So I might have to push that back a day. But on that one, I will give you credit today. We'll talk about that here in a moment too. All right. Seats. You did not have to remember your seat today because it was up on screen because I'm verifying names. Tomorrow, I'm going to keep it up there again to make sure I held the name thing. Monday, when you come in, no screen with seats on it. You're going to have to use your brain to figure out where you sit. If you don't want to use your brain to figure out where you sit, you can use someone else's brain. The problem is, you might want to look around. Some of those kids are special. You might not want to use their brain, so you might want to bring your own brain, but that's up to you. All right. There. Also, if you are unaware, today's schedule is different because apparently we hate children, and the last thing you want to have is consistency from one day to the next. So now that you got through yesterday and you're like, I think I know what I'm doing, we're going to grab that old educational rug and right out from underneath you and see who's still standing. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, your class periods are a little bit longer because you don't have best, which is like our version of Shark Time. Is that a thing? Yes, Shark Time. So we're going to have something similar to that called best, which is going to be on Tuesday, Thursdays, which is today. So today your classes are 5 minutes shorter-ish, and then you're going to have best at the end of the day. And then so your classes go in the same order, it's just the times are different. So you still go 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, lunch, 5th, 6th, 7th. It's just on Tuesday, Thursdays, we get to throw an extra half hour in there. And I think it's similar like Shark Time. You guys use Shark Time for like homework and getting stuff done? And then did you also use it for like SEL and bonding and hugging and stuff like? Oh, well, you're in for a treat. This year we had to get to add in stuff like bonding and talking and hugging and why puppies are adorable and stuff like that. And so it's not just homework, it's also going to be like a bond. Not us. I don't care about you guys. But your 7th period. So whoever your 7th period teacher is, that's who you get to bond with. And some of you guys are realizing right now that your 7th period teacher is math. And you're like, I don't want to bond with math. You're out of luck. And so it's going to be whoever your 7th period teacher is who you get to bond with. Don't get me wrong. We'll still have some bonding, just not like the same level of bonding. And then you can always get homework done. And then they're also going to have like meeting like today. If you're wanting to do cross country, they have a call out meeting for cross country. And so you get to just dip and just be like, no bonding for me, and you get to just take off, and that's fine. And so sometimes we'll have those meetings too. So, all right, so there. Continued goals. Did you judge your teachers yesterday? I hope you. Hopefully not out loud like my 4th period did, and they tried to verbally judge me, so I had to smack them around, and it was all kinds of fun. The judging is on the inside. It's all in the eyes when you're staring at them and thinking horrible thoughts. So hopefully you got to go through there and figure out. Now realize that was a 1st day impression, and then you have 2nd day where you get to come back and go, maybe that was a 1-day thing, and then maybe the teacher is different the 2nd day. I can tell you in here, nope, it's the same. It's just going to be longer and more of it and stuff like that. Now the bright side, I'm still judging you. Which we're going to get into more judgment here in a moment, because I have a couple of judgment opportunities where I need to figure out like which kids I get to go ahead and start. Wow, I really use my arms a lot, so I feel like I'm trying to fly like a baby bird. Sorry. me issue. I'm going to start judging you guys also a bit more today, figuring out who has notebooks, who brought back their papers, and we're going to get into stuff like that. So the judging goes both ways. The good news is, y'all didn't annoy me yesterday for not having like a full group of kids for 18 months and having 7 class periods. I was afraid I was going to go home yesterday and just like take pictures of you and just stab them. But that didn't happen. So I was happy. I was excited to come back today. So we'll see how day 2 goes. It's a win. And then I did make small changes to the homework. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Mostly for the good, I think, except for that whole responsibility thing. And then lunch. I got a feeling last year when it was Sand Creek, you guys didn't have like a giant lunchroom where they just like threw you guys all in there, and it was like being in prison with like people getting shanked in the hallways and stuff like that. But yeah, I went into the lunchroom for a little bit yesterday, and I was like, that's overwhelming. Because even for us last year, they spread kids out like in there, and they were like in other rooms, and they were like all over the place, and there was only like 50 kids. Wow, that was a lot of noise and kids running around and stuff like that. So, oh, also, find your friends at lunch. You still have, like, you're not locked into seats yet, so if you were like stuck by yourself yesterday and frustrated by it, find your friends today, then you should be good. Because you'll still have the same lunch period and stuff like that. So hopefully that makes lunch a little bit better for you. All right. Still just nodding at me? Yes, Mr. nodding. Communication's good. At some point, we're going to get to you guys where you actually talk at me. We might not be there yet, but me talking at you nonstop, although I do love the sound of my own voice, does get slightly boring. So at some point, we are going to have conversations that don't involve you guys just nodding at me and some of you guys crying. So I look forward to that. All right, homework for me. The composition homework notebook is, I'm going to give you credit here today. If you brought it with you, in a moment, I'm going to go through and then give you your first thing. You're going to hold it up. If you have a spirally notebook, then we're going to make fun of you a little bit because I told you that's a bad notebook. If you have the flat notebook on the back of it, I'm again going to make fun of you and stuff like that just so that you're aware of it. Bring the notebook back tomorrow because we're going to give you credit today, but we're not going to actually start working on it probably until Friday. So hopefully that helps you out from there. The picture's not going to be due till Monday. 5th, 6th, and 7th, I didn't get a chance to talk about that because the class periods were so short getting into things. So hold on to the picture till Monday. If you have it today, good. I recommend, if you have it today, write your name on the back of it and then possibly write my name on the back of it, because then if you leave it somewhere, it'll get delivered to me and then I can deliver it to you. But one of the things we're going to start learning, of course, is you get to make big kid choices. Unlike Sand Creek, where they treated you guys like much littler kids, here we get to treat you like big kids. And part of the joy of being a big kid is we let you dig your own grave with choices. And some of you guys make really poor choices, and you dig really deep graves. So that's part of the joy of getting to pull up those big kid pants. So if you're like, oh, you can't control me, old man with weird nails, I'm not putting my name on that picture, more power to you. Because then when you lose the picture come Monday, and I go, where's your picture? And you go, I think I left it in my facts class. And I'm like, was your name on it? And you're like, no. And I'm like, and so then the torturing begins. And you get, now realize, I win either way. Because if you are responsible and write your name on it, and then it gets lost and then brought to me, I get to brag about how smart you are. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so responsible, heart bubbles. And we have like a little bonding thing. If you don't put your name on it and you lose it, I also win. Because I get to torture you in front of other kids, and then we get to dance on your tears. So either way, I come out a winner. You just get to choose which side you want to be on. Sam, I said irresponsible, and you raised your hand. What's up?
Can we dig other people's graves?
Partly. More is just assisting other people. You can't fully dig their graves, but you can always encourage them to make poor choices. And that's sort of like sitting in the background while they dig the grave, and you're just clapping the whole time. Well, one good person, not so good person, but again, big kid choices. And you get to choose the path you want to go on. And then the yellow English seat, I'm going to move that to next week. With everything getting pushed back, there's other things to worry about. So I'm going to think probably Monday. It might even get pushed to Tuesday. We'll see how things go. So that's in the future worry type thing. All right. From there. All right. Now we're going to do the whole responsibility check from here. So let's do baby step first. Papery thing I gave you yesterday. All I'm going to have you do now is lift paper up so that we can make awkward eye contact with each other while you show me paper. If you don't have paper, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to forgive you. But it's also day 2, and torturing is going to have to begin at some point. So here's how your torturing begins. Those of you who don't have paper, I'm going to give you one. But I'm also going to give you a disapproving look and growl at you. Now, eventually, we're going to step up beyond disapproving look and growl, but I figure it's day 2. So just the 2 of you, I get to give you disapproving look and growl. All right, let me hook you up. The others of you can put yours down. The rest of you guys are good? All right. Now, been educated. Now, don't think that's how the whole year goes. If you're like, I'm never bringing homework if that's all that happens. No, boo-boo. That's just a day 2 thing. Eventually, we get to increase it. I just haven't had a chance to teach you about what kind of ways I torture you. So I figured we'll baby step into it. By the way, you might also want to put your name on it, because I had kids in first period learn that if your name's not on it, the kid next to you can just steal your paper. Because that's what happened in first period between my 2 kids. Was that Quinn? Quinn and Max. Quinn and Max! And then Quinn just stole Max's paper, and Max said, that's mine. I go, Quinn, is Max's name on that paper? And he goes, it's not. And I go, Quinn, you have a paper now. And I got to go growl at Max. So here's what we learned. If your name is not on that paper, it's not your paper. It's the kid who's closest to grabbing it like a hungry, hungry hippo. So I highly recommend putting name on paper to prevent other kid from stealing paper. I also realized many of you guys were just blankly staring at me. Remember those 2 choices we get to make thing? Either way, I win, because we're going to talk about paper again tomorrow. And if you don't have paper tomorrow, then we get to go from there. You also might want to put your name in pen, just to let you know, because some kids are smart enough to realize that pencil's erasable, and then when they steal your paper, they just go, Now, in that case, if your name is written in pen and they've crossed out your name and they wrote Bobby, then I can figure out that it was probably not their paper. But if not, then you've just given the gift of a free paper to someone else. One of the things some of you are going to learn this year is sometimes education is painful. And for some of you, it's going to be really painful, because learning hurts. All right, so go you there. All right, then home children. There's going to be a little blip, because I'm just going to pause the video for a second, because this is kind of boring. I'm going to be calling kids' name. We'll come right back. So home children. I'm just checking this notebooky thing, so you can just chill out for just a second. Pause. We're back. Welcome back. All right. And, all right. Oh, wait. What time are we doing today? Period 3:29. Still 20 minutes. Okay. All right. Did we cover my YouTube? We did cover my YouTube things. We did this thing. So again, some of you guys showed the video. So yay. I will not always be recording you. Eventually, I'm going to move over to other classes. It's just these first day. I wanted to sort of keep it as consistent as possible. So once again, don't think you're that special. I will eventually move over to other classes and stuff like that. Plus, it'll make it easier for Alice and I to make eye contact without having like a giant thing in between us. And I know some of you guys are like, whatever, words. All right, did we cover this with you guys? Writing things into, I've already started torturing kids in hallways, so make sure that you have it written down somewhere. And again, on iPad, make sure that you have name written in iPad somewhere so we can get it looked up and stuff like that. All right. And we talked about the, did it make life easier, being able to look up and see things? All right. I didn't even get a chance to talk to my 5th, 6th, and 7th periods about it yesterday, so I felt bad. So hopefully if it's making things easier for you. So again, as you figure it out now, as you go around and look at it, you can figure out all of those different hallways do look almost identical. So hopefully you can look up and from there, yay, make life easier, yay. All right, and then there, we covered you're on the heroes team and all that. So we got really far with you guys. Again, like my other 5th, 6th, 7th, and 1st period, we didn't get to like the 3rd screen. Ooh, we might get to awkwardly bond with you guys here in a moment. Anyway, to there, pod. Also, don't use the word pod anymore, because that's not what the cool kids use. It makes you feel so like Sam Creaky. And also, don't use the word rotation. We use the word classes here. So if you're trying to hang out with the cool kids, if you say like, what rotation is it, it's going to make kids think you're spinning in circles. So now you get to go to classes because you're big kids with all those big kid choices and stuff like that. and then you guys met Melling and Randall and stuff like that. So you saw Randall's tiny little dungeon room that she used. Yeah, that's where I thought I was going to be. And then they switched me to this giant room at the last second. And I was like, yay. And then if you guys have probably math, almost all of you guys are probably in the other little tiny. Ooh, I didn't ask. Can you guys hear through those walls when they're teaching from one? Just checking. I was wondering because I tend to be loud and make weird sounds. And that might be why they moved me so that I'm not on the other wall of someone. But I know Kearns is on the other side of Clark, so you guys should be fine. You want to have both of those. She's a very. Do you guys have Kearns? She's loud. And so even in my normal spot in that hallway area, her voice would leave her room, penetrate the hallway, and then go into my room where I was. And oftentimes we had to shut the door and keep out math learning. So I can only imagine in that little tiny room. Carter.
In Kern's room, I sit up right next to the temporary wall,
Yeah.
so you can hear through it pretty well.
So you get 2 educations at once?
Yeah.
Is it Kearns' room?
Yeah.
So I guess on that, so that one you get to hear 2 maths at once because you would have Clark on the other side.
Yeah. Luckily, Mrs. Kearns is louder.
Yeah, she's louder than everything. I think trucks going by she beats. I love Mrs. Kearns, but she's very loud, and so we compete voice-wise all the time. So it's good stuff, huh? But eventually, sometime we'll get our normal rooms back, and we'll see what happens from there. All right, and then to there, then on that one, yeah. Ooh. Those of you who have older siblings that were Globetrotters or Stars, did you go home and flex on them yesterday? Nice. That's what you're supposed to do. To go home and make sure they realize that you're the better one. And so it might take them a little while to adjust to the fact that you're better than they are. But the more you keep telling them that, and the fact that you have proof, if need be, we have video. If they argue with you at all, just go to the video and be like, hey, and then just play the video and go, look, there's proof. The hero child is better than you. You just need to accept it. Then you can just play that video clip. It's going to be at the 17-minute mark. All right, there you guys go. Oh, hang on. Bowen.
My mom still says the dog is better than me.
Well, that could be. I don't know what team the dog was on, and dogs are adorable, but don't give up. You keep fighting against that. I mean, not like physically fight the dog. The dog's probably going to win. But you don't. I don't know what. It could be a big dog or a small dog. I'm not trying to challenge you. Well, then you might be able to take the dog, but that still seems kind of neat. All right, did the heroes thing, and then did I give you guys hall passes yet? Congratulations, you're like one of the only 2 classes that got hall passes. And hopefully you've not. If you lose hall pass, who should you come tell? Me. Do I give you a new hall pass?
No.
No. What do I do? I prefer laughing at you, but sure. I just need you to help cheer me up. Ooh, let's play this game then. When do you get the next set of hall passes?
October.
Nicely done. October, which is the second 9 weeks. Got you on that one. How many times can you use the hall pass before it's all used up?
3.
Good job, 3 times. Oh, you guys were so vocal on that one. How many different classes can you use it in?
3.
Oh, nicely done. So you get one each of the different 9. Ooh. For those of you in Kearns, let's give you a math question. You get a new, you don't have to look so exhausted already. You get a new hall pass each 9 weeks. And if there's 3 passes on each one, how many will you have by the end of the year? Just say it out loud.
12.
Good job, I was saying that. So by the way, that should be 3 times 4, not 3 plus 9. Just making sure we're getting to the right answer the correct way. Because you get 3 passes each time, and then from there, I think that covered it on that one. And then you can use it to go to a locker, Tinkletown, just get out and stuff like that. I don't think you have to use them yet. I mean, like, I'm not going to make you use a pass probably till next week. Hopefully Melling and Randall are the same way. And then if you don't use them up, then you can cash them in for a thing we'll talk about here coming up. I think that's it as far as the hall pass goes. Did that, and everyone got the hall pass. We're good to go with that. I had no dead children yesterday, so all right, good to go there. Yeah. All right, then so here, which of those rooms is going to be mine?
Left.
Just checking on that one. Go you guys there. And then so we have that one, and then a little picture of me, and then yeah. Let's see. And then we showed you the pictures of our rooms. We went through my pictures. If you see a thing, partly what we're going to work on this year is giving you guys the confidence to actually like speak up and say a thing, because right now you're all staring at me like you're scared, which I understand because you're smart kids and you see a big scary thing in front of you and you don't want to anger big scary thing after you saw a big scary thing growl at 2 children and you're like, well, they're not dead yet. So one of the things we're going to work on is building up that confidence thing to be able to talk at some point. So if you see a thing that gives you a reason to have question, feel free to raise hand. I'll tell you, the worst that's going to happen is I openly mock you in front of all the children and then growl at you. And you've already seen both of those things happen. I've already openly mocked a child and I've growled at children and none of them died. So you can realize the fact that the worst that's going to happen is it does not involve death. It might embarrass you, but I'm wearing purple nails and I got through it. So if I can get through it, so can you. Oh, anyway, so from the, I had an 8th grader bring me back presents. That's why those are hanging up there. So I'm finally starting to hang stuff up in my room because 8th graders came back. Like, I have gifts. And I'm like, yeah. So I just ended up hanging up this gift in my room. Hang on. Not freaking out. Just hang on a second. Let me use your phone. Spider.
Infect the hallway.
It's clean. Well, I was sitting there teaching. I'm like, that piece of dust is just hanging there nonstop. It was very distracting. So I figured it had to be a spider. So I went over there and saved it. Sorry, I'm not much of one for killing spiders. All right, so we're good to go there, and then to there, and then the pictures, and the blah, and the pictures, and the blah, and then the pictures, and then yeah. Spilanoff's brother made that one for me, so I have that on him. He made me a weapon. So I have a shield with Medusas on it, and that's a literal spear that I will have in my classroom for student stabbing. Why, yes, Allison, what's up?
He repainted it like twice before he gave it to you.
It looks really impressive. And he gave it to me late enough in the year. I've not had a chance to stab a student with it, so I am looking forward to that first time I get to stab a kid. But yeah, so yeah, I have actual weapons in my room, so it's all kinds of joyous things on that one. So yeah. All right, and then to there, and then we did things from there. This thing you'll get a chance to there was an art project that they took a picture of my face and then they cut it up into little tiny things. Like each kid drew their own square, and then they had to like paste them all back together, so it makes me look insane. And I know your thought is, how can you tell the difference? And then it's usually, come on, look at those. And so there's just the giant thing that's up there. Anyway, all right, and then to there, and then yay, all right. Giving you more things to look at, and then sadness. All right, so then we have to there, yay, to there. And we talked about tardies with you guys, all right. So with you guys and the tardies, so I realized I can't leave it up there because then you can just cheat and read off the screen. So we're going to see how much of it's still in your brain. So in order to not be tardy, where do you have to be when the bell rings? We're going to just say it together, friends. There you go. Booty's in the seat on that. Ooh! The first time you're tardy, what happens to you?
Verbal warning.
Works for me. And again, in my class, the verbal warning is going to be me openly mocking you in front of other children. The second time you're tardy, what happens?
Get a physical warning that time.
I like the way you play, Sam, but no, I would never hit a child. With a straight face. But no, there's no physical warning that goes with it. Did we get to second warning with you guys?
Yeah, another.
So here's what happened, to double check. So the first time you're tardy, just to make sure you're aware, if I come in and let's say you're looking outside, because like yesterday during 4th period, there was a man walking by with groceries carrying a pizza sideways. I don't know what kind of maniac carries a pizza vertical, but he was walking by and the kids were like, oh my God, I'm like, that man's insane. And so that would be something distracting. If I were to come into my room and you were just like staring out the window and I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? And your answer is like staring at the man with the pizza. And I'm like, understood, but you're tardy. The first time you're tardy is the verbal warning where I just yell at you and go, what is your issue? And you go, I have problems. I'm like, I know. And then you sit down. And that's it. You just get a verbal warning. The second time you're tardy, except for Sam, who apparently gave me permission to beat him, the rest of you, what's going to happen is the second time you're tardy, I go, hey, you're tardy today too. It's 2 days in a row. And you're like, I'm looking for Pizza Man. And I'm like, oh my God. This time, you write an essay for me. And it's a one-page essay that you have to write about why you're a horrible child and how your parents failed in the raising of you. And then your parents have to sign the essay saying that we understand that we failed raising our child, but we're going to yell at them on a much more regular basis moving forward from here on out, and we agree to torture our children. And I'm like, yay, high five. The third time you're tardy, when I come in, I'm like, hey, what are you doing at the window again? You're like, come on, pizza man. I'm like, what is your... The third time you're tardy, I come in. This time you don't have to write the essay. You have a detention. And my detentions are always served during lunch. There's a little table of tears that you have to sit at all by yourself. Other kids get to like mock you and stuff like that. It's okay. You deserve it. And then you sit there. Then you have to write 2 essays, which are about a whole different thing about how you're going to have to change your life going forward and how you've made mistakes, stuff like that. And then you're going to do this other thing we're going to talk about later. We'll get to in a little bit. And then you have to keep doing that. And you keep serving detentions every day until you get the essays completed. Some kids get the essays completed in 1 day. Some kids take an entire week because, you know, choices. The 4th time you're tardy, and I walk in and I go, what is your issue? And you go, you can't control me, old man. And I'm like, well, you're right, I can't, but I can definitely torture you. The 4th time you're tardy, I don't give you a detention. You go down to the office, and the angry man on the intercom, he gets to yell at you. And then he has like a thing, I don't know, he beats you with a stick or goes all Sam on you or something like that. And so that happens. That's like 4th tardy on throughout the rest of them. And then, for the most part, I don't have a lot of tardies because apparently I'm intimidating and scary. But usually you'll get the first tardy. Most of you won't have tardies, except for those of you who get lost easily, who just sort of like wander around the school just bumping into walls, or who didn't pay attention to the fact that you can just go, oh, sorry, and then figure out where to go. And then some of you are just social, and you just like talking to all of your many friends, and it takes you forever to get to class, and then we'll have issues. And then the other good news is it's per class. So if you're tardy to Melling and then tardy to me, that's 2 1-tardies, not 2 tardies. So you could have like a tardy for like 7 classes and not have anything bad happen to you. So hopefully that helps you out with the tardy thing. Did I cover that tardy thing yesterday?
Yes.
Let's check out. You guys just let me babble at you the whole time all over again, didn't you? Yep, we're special children. It's going to be a long year, isn't it? Then after you cover what happens at the end of class. Now I can't trust you because you guys just nod your heads at everything. Grenor?
You make us smile. No.
You're on the right track. I do enjoy smiling.
The bell is for you, and we're just supposed to smile at you.
We're
Because
sure.
it goes with love.
Well, thank you very much, Grenor. And so, yeah, bell rings. I will talk because I like the sound of my own voice. Someday I'm going to hear your guys' voices because rumor is you'll talk to me. If I just keep harassing you enough that we're going to get there, I have faith. And so, yeah, at the end of class, just smile at me, fill my heart with love. And what happens if another kid stands up and tries to leave, what do?
Point at me.
Point at me?
Point at the
I'm
child.
making sure. You don't point at me. That's rude. You point at them, though, because it makes them a better person. And then that's how you fill their heart with love, and so they end up sitting down. It makes things much easier. All right. Good. So we did cover it. Good job. Covered that one. Then we got to this with you guys, didn't we? No. Yeah. So now's the next thing. Get out your iPadological thing, and we're gonna go to that. Have you guys connected to the Wi-Fi yet?
Yes.
All right. If you've not, we can help baby step you through that. If you've not downloaded an app called Remind, download an app called Remind. Allison,
I tried last night and it didn't download.
try it again.
I tried like 15 times.
That's an exact number. Let me see what happens when you try and do it. Let's see why it's fighting you. For those of you who are not Allison, try and download and let's see what happens. And then Allison, we'll just hope it doesn't. So, and you'll know it's the right one. It should be the blue one with like a little cloudy thing.
Oh, I click on that and then just
Reinstall and update. Yes, that is what we want to have happen. Command sent to. Yes, that's what we want to have happen also. Now, do the thing.
I'm supposed to go check and it should be on another page.
That looks like a cloud. All right. It doesn't say. All right. Do they have a little searchy thing? Where's the searchy? Thank you. I'm an Android person. What? Yes, but it's not.
I have it on my phone.
Do you have it on your phone?
Yeah.
That's fine. Use your phone then.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. That's all right. It just hates us. It's a hater. All right. All right. So has everyone gotten to the app? And then Allison's going to use spelling. I'm fine with that one. Then yeah. All right. So then what you're going to do now is you're going to start an account. So go to the next day. It's like click on there. It's like create account. You're going to need an email address that you can check because it's going to send you a verification code. You can use school email if you have like your own Gmail or Yahoo. That's fine. I don't care which one you use. You just want to use some type of email-y address type thing. Taylor.
I can't find the app.
You can't in the App Store. The school iPad. It's called Manager, and it looks like a sideways Wi-Fi signal.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't know what it looked like either. I had a kid show it to me. I had the same issue, so I can't throw too much shade. All right. When you are setting up the account and you are going through and doing it from there, if you are under 13 years old, it limits what you can do. Because what Remind is, I can use it to send you updates like, hey, there's homework due tomorrow, or I'm changing a homework, and so it allows me to like send you guys messages. But if you're 13 or older, you get to respond to those messages, and you can send me stuff like, hey, Mr. Brovicast, do we have to turn this thing in, or where do I find this assignment, or what's going on tomorrow? And you can send me messages. If you're under 13, you can't send me messages. Now, just to let you know, I don't know how old you are. Remind doesn't know how old you are. So when you sign up, if you mistype your birthday and it makes you 13 or older, it does activate that as a feature. But that is a moral choice you will have to make about whether you feel it is okay to mistype your birth date to activate that. I'm fine either way. It's just whether you want to have this ability to send messages back and forth, or if you just want to have it go one direction, not the band. And so figure out which way you want to go from there as you sign up. Then as you get into it, it's going to say at some point you're going to get to the stage where it says class code. You're the advanced class. So yours is BROV2. And then once you do that, it should set it up. And then we're going to test it here in just, at some point it should say, do you want this to send you notifications? And the answer is yes. That is the whole point of this. If you turn off notifications, it's like taking the wheels off your car. It does you no good at all. This is a notification app. If you remove notifications, then there's no point in having it. So make sure you have the BROV2, and then make sure you have notifications, and then make sure you figure out your age. It's also going to ask like your parents' email address also, and so whatever you know it is. I don't know if it checks that or not. You might be able to type in like mom@parent.com, and I think it probably accepts it. I don't know if that's a real email address, but that'd be awesome. And then I'm getting ready to send you a message to see if it works. And if you're signed in, you should be good. Do you have your phone with you?
No, it's in my locker.
All right, so check. If you had it with you, I was going to let you get it out. But if it's in your locker, by the time you get there and get back, you'll figure it out later. All right, let's send. During fourth period, I will be sending out a test message. You should get a test message from me. If you are 13 or older, or if Remind thinks you're 13 or older, you are welcome to respond to it. If you don't get a message during fourth period, let me know tomorrow, and then we'll verify it. I am done with you. You may now run away and enjoy fourth period.
Mr. Brovicast.